Is this thing working? Are we live? It looks like it's working. If it looks like it, maybe it is. What's happening, everybody? Hope you're having a fantastic whatever day you're watching this. Um, the show used to be called Mopar Chat Live, and a lot of guys would get on here and ask questions about how can I make my Mopar, how can I improve upon its performance, all of that good stuff. Nothing wrong with that, but we used to have a lot to look forward to. It used to be that Mopar Chat where guys would come on board and they would talk about the car that they're saving up for, the car that they're going to get. Well, that's going away. And along with the rest of, Mopar in general, from what it looks like, CEO guy, I can't remember the guy's name, doesn't really matter. The guy's basically saying that Dodge, or at least Stellantis for sure, is not an American brand, and that Dodge is just, it's not an American car company. Think about that for a minute. What kind of bullshit is that? It's Dodge, okay? Yeah, they own the brand, I guess, but at some point, the brand transcends ownership. It's like the art becomes the property of the universe, so to speak, right? I mean, can we at least roll with that? Look, the fact of the matter is this, guys, we got nothing to really talk about when it comes to Mopar. I hate to tell y'all that, but it's true. There's some guys that are still going to champion the cause, if you will. I mean, look, you got Matt over at Moe's Performance with the trucks. They just got a brand new shop truck. Go check it out. Tell them you want to see that thing put in work, and you tell them I said hello when you do it. But check that out. He is a Mopar enthusiast and a Mopar, just a racer, just a true racer. Great guy. Can't wait to see what he does with that truck. But here's the thing. There's nothing new to look forward to anymore. And the thing that is the most concerning for me is what that landscape starts to look like with that new Charger. And what is the new Charger going to be? There's one other thing that's been driving me nuts that Dodge has been doing here. Well, they've announced that, and you guys have already seen the videos, I'm sure, but they've said, no, wait. We're going to have the 392 Jeep. That thing is the JK, whatever it is, the Wrangler, right? The one with the 392. That they're going to have that thing still alive and kicking. Okay. So a $90,000+ Jeep with a 392 in it. Strike it as a little bit insulting, maybe. Like, you look at this and go, how very dare you bring a $90,000 whole ass dollar Jeep to the party. Guys, look, and years ago when I worked at Pikes, we tuned a lot of engine swap Jeeps. LS swap, LS with a Maggie, Hellcat swap, 5.7 swap, 6.4 swap. Not that damn special. Look, certainly not $90,000 special. But more to the point, it's okay to put that engine in the Jeep, but you can't put one in a pickup truck. Chevy 6.2 liter would like to have a word with you. Meanwhile, the Ford 5-liter Coyote is just kind of hanging out with its, glass of its preferred beverage, watching this all unfold. And I'm sorry, but it's getting hard not to laugh. I mean, you're not laughing out of professional decorum, right? It's like when you see your nephew do something very adult, but yet very inappropriate, but yet very child appropriate, very bold, if you will. Jumps his bicycle, but oh man, are you okay, buddy? That's what Ford's doing as they watch this, and Chevrolet for that matter, as they watch this complete and total meltdown of Dodge, Ram, Mopar, whatever you want to call it. But the arrogance of Stellantis at this point is as rich as an egg fart in an elevator. And the problem is that people out there that will tongue bathe Mopar or Dodge at the drop of a hat because of, I don't know, reasons. This is the thing. It's almost like it's gotten to the point where, it's the emperor's clothes. If you call Dodge out for what they are, you get less and less clout, I guess. They don't want to invite you to your, build-a-thon when they're putting the roadkill nights together or whatever it's going to be. That's the thing that bugs me the most. The people that are the most honest are the ones that are getting the least amount of props. Tough love in this situation is warranted, if nothing else. I wouldn't just call it warranted. I would say that it's necessary. And I've been doling this out for quite some time. But I find it really funny, though, the more that I'm around this. And Mopar Guy reminds me of Harley Guy in so many different ways. This is one of the more funny things. I had put and y'all know where I'm going with this. I put my video out about my driving experiences of the Grand Wagoneer with the HO-i6. And I was going, boys, do not sleep on this thing. It's a bad mother scratcher. And if you even think that the 392 can hold a candle to this thing, you're absolutely wrong. I had V8 guys coming out of the flipping woodwork. You don't know what you're talking about. The 6 is going to be a piece of shit, this, that, and whatever else. It's not a V8. V8. And then leading into my driving experience of the standard output i6 in that truck, which, by the way, I did confirm it had 87 octane in the tank. Bad look for that truck to have that crap fuel in it, because that engine can't run on it realistically. But I digress. I lead up to that with, everybody saying V8, 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 V8. I drive it and I say, guys, look, I'm impressed by it. Now all of a sudden, out of nowhere, out of seemingly just the ether, I get inline 6 guys showing up. You know what you're talking about. I drove one and I'm offended. And I'm going, where the flip were you wrist biters when I was putting out all of the pro content for the i6? It cracked me up. I'm literally laughing out loud at some of the BS that came through after I drove that truck. And I even said, look, I think you either drove a dud, something's wrong with it, the fuel itself, something's not right. You just don't know. The truck had 87 octane in it. And if you're being honest with yourself, that truck has no business running on 87 octane. That is limp home mode level of performance that came out of that truck. I'm reminded of something too. I was playing around with a tune in Whitey, my F-150. Finally finished the tune in that truck, by the way, today, after 5 more revisions on that tune. And Smoking Hot was my passenger for part of it. And even she was, I think, getting pretty bored with the process. But finally wrapped up the tune on that truck. And it went a 1389, 0 to 60 in 5.7 seconds, 5.68 seconds. But its fastest pass when it was running kind of shy on fuel, guys, it went 0 to 60 in 5.59 seconds and ran like an 898th mile at about 80 miles an hour. Multiply that out to 1.53 because I wasn't able to get a full quarter mile pass. That would have been about a high 1360, low 1370 pass the way that truck back halves. And that's with no power added to it. In other words, that's just with 93 octane in the tank. I would expect not necessarily that level of performance out of the SO, because I have tuned it in terms of some torque management and in shift points. So I'm not necessarily looking for that level of performance out of the SO, but it should have been a hell of a lot closer than it was. Point that I'm making is this, guys. Where were all the apologists when I was putting the info out early on the 6? I was a big driver of that engine for a long time, saying that this is not a bad thing. The V8 going away isn't bad. Let's see what it looks like. Now we've seen what it looks like, and it looks like you can't run it on 87 octane. Which is kind of true of most engines nowadays anyway. The performance envelope realistically requires at a minimum 89 octane, if not premium, to get the most out of them. But in this case, it was so bad that I literally thought that there was something wrong with that truck. But I guess this is really going around my ass to get to my elbow. Do we have anything positive to talk about when it comes to Dodge? What is Dodge doing that's good? What is Ram doing that's good? What's Jeep doing that's good? What's anything under the Stellantis umbrella? Is anything good to talk about? The EVs, Charger EVs, are already stumbling out of the gate. We were supposed to already have them, and yet they had to pull them back, and they're doing a revamp, the electrical issues or some other electrical problems. Some you don't want to hear in an electric car. An electric car, y'all, it runs on electricity, and you got electrical problems. How you do that? You can't have electrical problems in an electrical car. I mean, look, Dodge has enough Ram Mopar has enough electrical problems as it is. It's one of the main reasons why I got rid, and I say got rid, not let go. I'm using the words very deliberately here. One of the reasons why I got rid of my Ram, took a bath on that truck just to run the hell away from it. But here's the thing. What do we have positive to talk about? Give me something positive to talk about, because the Charger EV is coming out of the gate with electrical problems. Go figure. Irony, right? We have nothing to talk about when it comes to the i6 powered Chargers. No word as far as when they're going to land. We keep hearing, oh, it could be 2025. Boys, let me remind you of something. It's June. Okay. June. And today is June the 22nd. Customarily, July was the point where the next year's cars were introduced. That's when you would see the 2025s. Ram already has 2025s on the lots. So where in the hell are the Chargers? I don't want to hear anything about UAW strike. I don't want to hear about this boohoo problem, that boohoo problem there. I want to know, where are they? Let me see one. Has anybody tested one? Can we get something fresh and something cool out of Dodge, please? Because that's why I don't call the show Mopar Chat anymore. It's not even worth it. What are we going to talk about? Again, I love talking to you guys about your mods. On occasion, I still do peer reviews on tuning. I still do a lot of the things that I used to do frequently. But I got to tell you something. Throwing shade at Dodge over and over again. I need something positive to talk about Dodge about. And so far as I can tell, I got nothing. And it's not just how the cars or trucks aren't doing that well. It's the fact that they're so damn expensive. I started off this whole boohoo complaint about that 392 Jeep. How the hell can you take a body-on-frame Jeep that doesn't cost you a damn thing to build at this stage of the game, a 392 engine that you've got a Brazilian of them sitting around, they don't cost you anything to build. It's not like the mold hadn't already paid for itself and the parts are just laying around the shop. Throw in an HP 70 transmission. Why it wasn't an HP 90, I don't understand. And send that off into the world. You're going to ask $90,000. They're making 4 times their money on this piece of crap. And somebody is going to buy it. And that's the thing that just irks me the most, is that they'll put this trash out there. Somebody will buy it and show it. Oh, look, it's a Jeep 392. It's got the power sky, but it's a Jeep. Isn't that neat? Wow, look. Friend, it's Mopar, baby. It's faster than your Mustang. I can already flipping hear it. Hate those guys. Anyway, look, for $90,000, I think you could pick up any Jeep and swap it and do better. I mean, how many of those could you build on your own in your garage, for crying out loud? The whole front of the thing just disassembles. Anyway, getting back to it, I need something more positive to put out there. I will tell you, though, that my time with Mopar did no favors in terms of teaching me how to tune a Ford. One of the things I was joking around my wife about, I was like, man, there's stuff that that's in this OS. I'm not in the operating system. I'm thinking there's stuff in this computer that I'm not like, because I didn't mess with Fords before. I'm looking at it going, okay, what about power enrichment? Why is it not going into power enrichment? And why it's like it is, but it's not. And I'd been playing around with some parameters that would, do certain things with a Mopar. They don't do those things with the Fords. Stuff like it basically, what it seems like it uses is cat overtemp or component overtemp to trigger tip in, or what I should say, power enrichment mode. So there's a lot of inference that goes on in the Ford computer that you don't really have in the Mopar. The Mopar is very if-then. I have a sensor. If it reads this, then I do that. So I have a throttle input. If it does this, I give this much fuel, basically. Ford's not like that. It infers everything differently. And so I noticed that I was getting this weird amount of knock retard at about 40 to 45% throttle. And I went through, looked at my temperature settings. I thought, man, everything looks good. And I went and looked at a data log. I did a long data log with it. And I'm watching it, and I'm watching the fuel trims, and I'm looking at command AFR, and it just hovers like kind of high. And I went, you know what? And I saw the COT, the cat overtemp, and it was hot. And I'm going, you've got to be kidding me. And that immediately triggers that thing wouldn't be inferring that hot if it wasn't using it for something else. And that's exactly what I figured it out. That's when I figured it out, that if I brought all those figures back to stock, then it would make all the problems go away. And it did. So now it's trying to command even more timing up under wide open throttle conditions. It's a lot happier through the rest of the pull. So with the Fords, it's just leave them stock everywhere. Just go after the transmission and do some torque management stuff. And you too can have a low 13-second truck in cold weather without stressing anything, and run whatever gas or E85, whatever fuel you want. But anyway, that's kind of where I'm at with all of this, so I don't like, I guess I'm giving you my perspective with a Ford to illustrate this. I don't have a Dodge to tune. I mean, I do, I guess, but I'm even there. I wouldn't even, why bother? I'm at the stage now with Dodge that, again, they're not doing us any favors. And yeah, granted, I know that everything is overpriced right now by a substantial amount, but that's really not the point. I mean, everything's expensive now, but the Dodge thing is the thing that bothers me the most. Yeah, if you're brand loyal, you'll pay a little bit more out of loyalty. If there's some other just really cool features about the vehicle, Dodges, say what you will, but they always have a real clean interior, really nice, well put together interior, great gauges. There's a lot of things that are good about the Dodge. You can say a lot of good things about them, but man, with the issues that they've been having, and now with the just assholery that seems to be going on with their CEO, it's not even, I just don't want to support. I don't want to put money in those coffers. I'd rather put money somewhere else if I've got it to spend. So let me check in with you guys. I'm blabbering on long enough here. Marco is in first. What's up, brother? Sam is in. Ryan is in. What's up, buddy? Car Wash is in. Saying, looking fly. Appreciate that, Car Wash. Kind words, my friend. Ryan said, okay, F5 versus F16. I like the 5, even though I like single engine aesthetics. The 5's a great, don't get me wrong. We have a lot of 5s at Ellington. Beginning of the summer, it's when you see a lot of lieutenants in the sky, baby. But no, you'll see the F5 is a neat aircraft, but the 16 has got the 16 is going to have a more in-depth electronic suite. Although I will say the Tiger, there's a hot rodded version of the T5 Oh shit, when was it? It was uh it had different power plants, and it had an upgraded electronic suite. It was a legit what I would call an out of market fighter, but it would hold its own against the 16. So, but yeah, F5 is a clean ass plane. Again, we see them especially the beginning of the summer. We see them out here all the time. Matter of fact, here in Velocito, this is part of the trek that they'll take to run off the coast when they start doing some more advanced maneuvering. They'll take the they'll take property off the land, and it's pretty sick when you see those boys getting after it out there. Hard Rock is in. What is up, Brent, my man? How are you? Appreciate you coming by. DM. Good evening, chat and friends. Good evening. Sam say my only hope for the Chrysler division is that they adopt some of the French interior design language. Yeah, they need to adopt a lot. They need to do a lot for the American market. I'm afraid they've got a lot of people that are shying away from them. Brent's saying they're going to sell off Ram and Jeep. I wonder who would pick it up, or if they can survive on their own. Sam saying, I believe the 6.4 is still available in the 3/4 ton and 1 ton trucks. It is, but not as the 485 horse variant. That's only available in the Jeep. Just them. Hard Rock saying, Tongue Bay, the super stock, sight unseen. I get that. Chrysler is boring again. How about that Aprilia RS660? Ryan, so check this out. I just rode the Speed Triple 1200 Double R. Next on the list is to ride the Daytona 660, which is being very favorably compared to the Aprilia RS660, except it doesn't have adjustable suspension. So there's that. I liked the Double R a lot ish. And it takes a minute when you ride a bike like that, it can sometimes take a hot minute to digest the riding experience, because immediately I'm thinking GSX-R 1000, CBR 1000. That would be my barometer to measure it against as far as leader class bikes. But it's got more torque, kind of has the horsepower, but it never has the rush up top. And so for that, you don't want to say disappointed, but it suffers in the same way that the 92 suffers, where it's got a lot of punch, but no big rush up top, but it's making really good power. That's the 1200 Double R or the RS, either way, the Speed Triple. It's got a big hit of power, crack the throttle, and wham, you're gone. Extremely rich in terms of power, handles amazingly, at least it's stable. But as far as, outright fun, I don't know that bikes at that power level are fun anymore. I think that they're more, I don't know. It's who's got the clout at, the coffee shop. That's really more what that's for. But anyway, a little bit about that experience. But now the D1 has got the power to go along with the looks, and the tire is right where it needs to be. It's making about $130, $135 at the flywheel. I'm able to just rail on that bike on the S22s in a way that you would normally expect somebody to be, attacking on ramps, off ramps, any opportunity that I get, the way that I would with my GSX-R 750 or with any of the middleweights. Just pick one; it doesn't matter. It'll hold its own with any of those bikes, which makes it a lot of fun. But I felt like the more leader class bikes were just a little bit overkill at this stage of the game. So really is too much power, because you can't really use it. I mean, you can if you're roll racing, but if you have a bike like that and you're not roll racing it, I don't know what you're doing with it, unless you are specifically on the track. Anyway, I guess the point that I'm making is, yes, RS660, badass bike. Hopefully I get a chance to throw every one of the Daytonas, but we shall see. Sam saying, honestly, I don't understand the need for half-ton trucks, and they with now large mid-sized trucks. I think in the next couple of years, 3/4-ton truck segment is going to be hot for performance, which it could very well move into that. Smoking 05 is in. It's been a while. Good to see you, bro. Hanging out with Smoking. Oh, Sam saying Charger EV. Yeah, they're not existing in the wild. They can't release them because of issues. Smoking saying I had a chance to data log my 392 on top of a Beartooth past Montana at 11,000 feet. My map sensor was 67 kPa, dude. So what he's talking about, guys, is kPa is a measure of atmospheric pressure. At sea level, kPa will read either 100 or 101 kPa. It depends on how the barometric pressure is, but you basically figure 100. So in essence, his engine was making 67% of its rated power at sea level. So that'll tell you all you need to know about what altitude can do. So yeah. And that walks in lockstep pretty well because you lose about 3% per thousand as you start going up in either altitude or density altitude. So yep, 3% per thousand walks dead set with what he was reading on his map sensor. Pretty sweet. It's another aviation note. That's any internal combustion engine follows that. Any atmospherically powered, I should say, in other words, not boosted, engine follows that. Sam's wanting the 392 to have a 6-speed. That would be cool. Sovereign said I had a chance to drive a 500-horse supercharged Range Rover. Don't care for the vehicle, but I fell in love with the power. Yeah, that's actually a neat truck. Smoking said, have you ever seen a watt kPa that low before? Not in a car, no. In an airplane, yes, but no, not in a car. The lowest that I think we had seen was in the high 70s. So that's crazy low, but no. Sam's saying that here's the thing I've noticed about the big, they're all overpriced by 5 to 15 grand. I would agree with that. Sorry, I wish I had a 6.4. They're fun. So I can say I just finished doing the big Sky Race week in Montana with a TA92. Very cool. Sam saying I won't touch Land Rover, but maybe an Armada. The problem with Land Rovers, the funny thing is that it got such a bad reputation for long-term quality, and they sell for nothing at auction. It's not uncommon to see those things going for like 25% a sticker when they're only like 4 or 5 years old. All right, say my local dealer is a ripoff. Baseline helicopter not worth 100 grand. My next Challenger will be bought online. I found a super stock for 76 grand. Low miles, not ready to buy right now. Go figure. Yeah. Super stock would be nice. I like super stocks. They really have grown on me quite a bit. Carzilla saying Coyote and the new Bronco 2.3 actually is in motor so far. Coyote and a Bronco would be ridiculous. Awesome. Worm's asking, do you offer remote tuning services? No, I do not. Learned my lesson a long time ago with that. And it wasn't even me doing it. It was when I worked for Alex and Alex Pipes. The guy is the best, period. I mean, the guy trains the people that train the people how to tune. He's really, really good. And basically acting as a shop manager for him. And I even told him, I said, we're pulling, you cannot keep doing this. Poor guy would, just drive himself nuts. So, but for certain guys, like I have they'll send me a tune. I'll look at it, say, look, this looks good. This looks bad. This is some things that I would change. I used to do that on occasion. Don't really do that so much anymore. But yeah, I do not do remote tuning. For every reason in the world that you wouldn't want to do remote tuning, because it ends up being no, I don't. I don't even want to get into it, but yeah, I have done it, and I've done it, and I've done it for guys at the track primarily. When I was the one actually doing tuning, it was me going back and forth with guys that were at the track. I would see their data log. I would make adjustments to their trans tune, and in some cases, engine tune. And I was also looking to make sure everything was working as it should. So I'm looking at injector duty cycle. I'm looking at fuel trims in some cases. I'm looking at fuel pressure, looking at oil pressure, all kinds of different stuff. I would do that for guys remotely, and when I was on site, which isn't really a remote thing, but I would also do it on site at events. Saved quite a few guys, by the way. Found mainly Hellcats, fuel pump issues. Saying I test drove a 2020 58,000 mile Ram 2500 Mega Cab yesterday. Nice truck, 56,500. I've wanted one for years. I was so close, but with all that's going on with Stellantis, I couldn't do it. I understand. Joshua was asking, can I smack a Pro Charger on a 2019 RT with just a tune and gone with it? No, you're going to need a fuel system for it. So you would need all of the fixins. But that being said, if you've got everything to go along with it, yes, you could. But no, you can't just bolt the blower on and go. You will need fuel system, injectors. There's going to be a lot of you're going to have to do that's going to be above and beyond just putting the blower on. Sam's asking, what would you suggest, a 5.7 with a mild cam, equal length, or stock 392, a swap into a 90 model Dakota? I'd do 5.7. I wouldn't spend the extra money on a 392. And the reason why I say that, it's the performance that you're going to get versus the cost you're going to throw into it. 392s are expensive. And it's not going to do any good to get one out of a truck. You get one out of a truck, great, but it's lower compression, and the cam in it's not that great. They don't make much more power than a 5.7. They have a little bit better tip-in torque. They have an amazing intake manifold, though. But the big deal with that is that they'll just make that power indefinitely. You know, they've got the big radiators and everything else to allow those engines to do that. It's good saying, sorry I'm late, just back from a long ride. Went from Terrell down to Brian. What's up? What's up, man? Got the fist bump. Sorry, I'm saying, I think I see an RC car on the shelf behind you. Hard to tell, though. The stream is compressed to hell. Oh, yeah. That is a team associated SC8. Pretty sick little kit. So a long time ago, I was pretty competitive with those things. And that one was Bomb Pop Racing. So it was myself and a buddy of mine, Paul. And that I did drifting with it. It was basically outside 8 scale exhibition type stuff. In fact, I was it was years ago, one of the nationals up in NorCal. I was doing exhibition runs with that thing. Pretty sick. 5S and 6S. It's got it had a Castle. Yeah, it's a Castle 2600 that's in it. So not super fast on 4S, but fun little plaything on 4S, but it gets real serious on 5 and 6S. X is saying, hey, B, some 170s are going for under sticker now. You going to gamble on purchasing one? So I thought about that. Guys, I don't know that I would be a player on that car at this stage of the game. It's a neat car. If I could get one for substantially under sticker, maybe it would be worth looking at, but I got some issues with it. One, I don't have a local track. I'd have to be about an hour and a half or 2.5 hours away from actually running the thing. Two, still a lot of money, no matter what you're looking at. So if I could get it under sticker, maybe it would be worth it. But here's the thing. If it's going for sticker or under sticker, It's just an automobile at that point. Now, I feel horrible for the people that were spending way above sticker for those cars. But guys, I got to tell you, I'd love to get my hands on one. I'd love to drive one. I'd love to see what I could get out of one. But I'm sorry, I just don't see the value in it anymore, for me anyway. There's every new thing that you could do with that car has been done. And in other words, it's already, people have already put them on dynos. People have already, gone to the drag strip. What does it really run? And that's the other thing. I guess I'm more bummed out about that thing from the point of view that it doesn't really flick any switches for me right now. That I could change, that could completely change. And at some point, maybe, depending on, how life moves forward, maybe in a couple of years, I relook at something like that. But right now it's just, I hate to tell you this, I'm having a lot more fun with my truck. I'm having a lot more fun with these motorcycles than I would with that car. I hate to say it like that, but when you get to that level, you almost can't help but take it seriously. And that's something that, look, I ain't gonna lie. There's part of me that knows I could just crack fools with that car. I know what I could do to it from a point of view that would make it pretty untouchable as far as in as delivered form type of stuff. And I would sort out ways to get that thing to cover a number pretty consistently. I wouldn't have any problem running low nines with that thing like clockwork. Is it worth it though? I don't know. I've driven 1,000 horsepower cars. I've driven a lot of them. I was the guy that data logged them. I was the guy that just sit there. Looks like I'm wearing a white lab coat with my computer over here. Yeah, cool. Don't get me wrong. But again, I'm having more fun on the street with my truck than I think I would have with that car. Plus, again, it becomes work because to ferry that thing back and forth to the track is it's not inexpensive for one, for sure, both in time and money. Sublime is in. Hey, been a while. Been thinking of selling the Scat Pack because the takeover kids are giving Mopars a bad image. I get it, man. It's tough. Make sure you get Destroyer 1320. Make sure you get the block off plate. Get that thing to your dealership. Have the RFID bricked, or the RF hub bricked, so they can't use it to make keys for your car. I mean, there's some stuff you can do to make it very inconvenient to lift, and at least it'll be safe in that respect. And the takeover stuff, I mean, it used to be like that with Fox body Mustangs. Right now, it's like that with Mopars. Whatever's next will be next. Probably Mustangs again, I'm sure. Sovereign said the one that I drove with the Signature, but it had so many things that were malfunctioning. Oh yeah. Sovereign saying overall SUVs are not my thing. Maybe an exception with a Durango. Durangos are nice. Sovereign saying when I was a kid, the talk of the town for RC cars was Hot Shots. Oh, Mark's asking JLT or K&N. Neither. I would go with the Hellcat filter for it. Is yours a shaker? Yours isn't a shaker, is it? I would go with the Hellcat air filter, the Mala filter. It's all you need. I'm saying like SUVs and trucks more so than sedans and smaller cars. It's fun to drive a big barge fast. It is fun to drive the tanks fast. That's one of the reasons why I like my truck so much. Gallo 12 or Gallo 24. That thing, I tell you what, I don't even know where all the rest of my kit is for that thing. Got a Futaba controller for it. I got all kinds of stuff for it. I never do run the thing, but it works great. It's still to this day, it's perfect running condition. Let's see. Checking in with Sovereign. Sovereign saying Demon 170 was overhyped, unfortunately. Yeah, a little bit. I mean, that's one of the things that a lot of folks called early on, is that the 170, man, if it doesn't perform as advertised, it's going to get some shade, son. And that's kind of sort of what happened. So, Sovereign saying it's hot out here in Cali. Yeah, it's hot out everywhere. I'm saying only small cars I like are Porsche 944s and late 90s Hondas. 944s are fun cars. Sovereign like the MR2 with a V6 swap. D series Honda is good. 2GRFE swap. Bringing out some old school stuff here. Got the singles. Oh, Hard Rock saying depends on where your passions take you. Man, I tell you what, I'll always be a Mopar fan. That's never going to change. I've never found myself. Well, I say I would never. That's a bad place to start. But I don't see. I'd say this, guys. I don't, and I'm not going to waste hope on this. I would like to think that I'm wrong when I say that Dodge has seen its best days go past. And I'm afraid that if the EV charger doesn't do well, which shit, I mean, how could it do great, right? But if the EV charger doesn't do swimmingly well, you're going to be looking at a situation where that asset is hemorrhaging value right now. I'm sorry, guys. This is the way it is. The only assets that are going to have any real value at this stage of the game is going to be Jeep and Ram. That's it. The rest of the brands that are going to fall under what used to be FCA, that Chrysler, Dodge, Plymouth, they don't have the value anymore because they don't have the products that anybody wants. And what they do have has been suffering some build quality issues for quite some time. So I don't know. That's another big frustrating part of Mopar, is just watching the long-term quality of them go down. Being honest, that truck that I had, I think may have already started to have an issue with the lifter. So I don't know. I'll never sell my Scat. It's a great car. Gemini is in. Let me build it and be a beast. I'd put a little stank on it. Sam saying, I remember how easy it was to steal Fords in the early 90s. Cake. Fox body. Any of the Fords really. And the older, the OPS Chevys, the ones that came out after the Boxies, were super easy to lift. All right, saying Hellcat lower. Yep. Do the Hellcat lower with the Hellcat filter. Get the snorkel. You'll be in good shape. Oh, I didn't see it. Sovereign nailed it. No, I didn't see anybody pop up. Didn't see that. Hey, Destroyer 1320, your ears must have been ringing, bro. I was just mentioning you. Somebody was asking about a car. I said, look, make sure you give Destroyer 1320 a shout. Get that, get the block off plate. Awesome to see you on, bud. Smoking's keeping his TA 392. Story saying best of Motor's come and gone. Yeah, that's what we're thinking. And again, the problem is that there's nothing positive to discuss at this stage of the game. I mean, and for everything that, and this is the other weird thing. I don't know what it is with Mopar guy in general, but anytime you say something positive, like when I was saying stuff positive about the i6, it was always the crowd would try to bring me back into the bucket and tell me it's not a V8. I go out and drive the i6 and it had 87 octane in it, which made it perform like dog shit. And I got people saying, you're hating on the 6 just because it's not a V8. It's like, what? I mean, it's just, but anyways, beside the point. There's nothing positive to talk about when it comes to Mopar, or Dodge especially. And the trucks that, yeah, they're great to drive, but, and I've heard this said before, anything from Stellantis, Dodge, Mopar is what we're talking about specifically there right now. Fantastic to lease. Fantastic to lease, terrible to own and buy. So fantastic to lease, horrible to own and buy because of all the issues that seem to happen. They follow the same protocol that sort of BMW, but not quite as bad as Mercedes-Benz, Alfa Romeo, Maserati, any of these higher end type cars. Again, BMW may be the lesser of all of these, but they still have bad appreciation. Anyway, they're known for not living through their warranty period. So really, if you want to enjoy all that there is when it comes to Mopar, and you got the extra coin to just use as entertainment dollars, lease you one of these things. Go out, have fun, do a 2-year lease on it. Don't be that deep into it. You got your residual. When you're done with it, hand them the keys. Because at about that point in time is when we start having all the electrical problems. At least it did with my Hellcat. And, and by the way, my 2022 Ram, well, it's like it started having electrical problems the day I bought it. So there's that. Let's see. Starts hanging out with Sovereign. Skids was 93 degrees in Bryan, and we headed back towards home. We were pushing the bikes pretty hard and were able to stay cool. You would need to, for sure. X is asking, what was your first fun car? My first fun car was my first car. It was a Dodge 600 Turbo. And it was fun because it, at that point in history, a lot of cars didn't make much more than about 150, 160 horsepower. Pretty dull moment in terms of power. And that thing was pretty fun. It was a front wheel drive Dodge. Another fun car wasn't mine. It was my granddad's D100 slant 6 truck that we would take to the oil field roads and control the skid. That whole story, that was with that truck. So again, wasn't my vehicle, it was my granddad's, but grab a 6-pack of Miller Lite. All right. Time to teach you how to drive, son. And we get out there and have a ball. Hanging out with Destroyer saying, still coming to grips with reality, hitting the big 5-0. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that at all. Life starts getting good once you start getting up in age, man. Destroyer Dana wanted Charger EV body so I can put a Hemi in it for sure. I don't know. I'm dying to see what the engine compartment looks like. We're saying that what's it called? Just the engine bay, the dims of it may not hold the Hemi, which is kind of weird. I don't know if I believe that 100%. Destroyer saying, I'm 50 very soon, brother. All good. Yeah, same here. I'm going to be 50 pretty quick. And it's great. I love it. Can't wait to see what the next 100 or 50 years works out like. I can see triple digits. I like to do that. You got some guys in really good shape in their 60s and 70s. A lot of it just has to do with your mental state. Make sure you're getting exercise, eating right. That'll stave off a lot of age. Hard Rock's asking, how did Ferrari stay relevant all this time? That's a great question. But again, it's a luxury brand. They build a product that has desirable qualities, the fit, the finish, the sound of the thing. And people that have money like them. They're great to drive. They're very well balanced cars. And so that's probably what's kept them so relevant for so long. People want them. They are in demand. This kid's asking, should Carly's Jeep Ram should have been purchased by an American car company, Tesla perhaps. You wouldn't have to worry about those pesky EPA credits. That would be pretty sick if you did. Story is saying, appreciate you. Oh, absolutely, man. Good dude. He's saying, hey, B, still have my Scat Pack, but not driving it a lot right now. Messing with a VW GTI. Nice. And put a ball and have a ball staying under the speed limit. Put an EQT tune on it and had the gains were impressive. Yeah, those are a lot of fun. Everybody I've talked to that has those loves them. Eric is in. What's up, my man? Good to see you, buddy. Yeah, there you go. Sovereign's got Destroyer's site up. Good job, my friend. Yeah, if you've got one of the new cars, guys, you've got to get over to Destroyer site, get your plates on your cars now. Do it now. Now. Wait, do it now. Use code Mason for 15% off. Oh yeah, we do have the code. Use code Mason for 15% off of your Destroyer 1320 anti-theft device. You know what's funny? I'm going to say this, that because I did sell my car, that was actually a thing that the guy really did appreciate because his car had been stolen. So I don't know how he did it, but, or how it was stolen, RFID or what, but with that plate, can't jump in the thing, pop the transmission lanyard and drag it off. It makes it very inconvenient, which is what you want to do. You want to ruin their day. So yes, do it now. Skid's going to be 49 soon. But yeah, the guy that bought the car, apparently that was something that he was really happy to hear about. Plus, with the RFID being bricked or RF hub being bricked, you couldn't pull the RFID and just make a new key for it. So I'm saying just a year behind. Motor City is in. What's up, man? Destroyer, what is the best place to sell my 71 Dart drag car? Probably Bring a Trailer, I think. See a lot of stuff like that on there. Someone's asking Ferrari or Lamborghini. I'm more of a Lambo dude myself. Don't get me wrong, I like Ferrari, but I will probably always be Lambo number one for me. Ferrari Spider is sick. Eric saying Dodge / Stellantis is having major problems with these 2025 Dodge Charger EV batteries catching on fire when testing. Oh crap! Are you sick? So is it legit? I mean, is it really that fire now? I mean, dude, talking about an electrical problem. That would be bad. That would be super bad. You know what's funny is that, my Smoking High, we're talking about this whole EV thing. And she's adamantly against him. Hates him, can't stand him. It's not an automobile if it runs on electricity, according to my wife. And she doesn't like him for the safety thing. It's a bad deal. I mean, my dad would tell you that, when he worked at the track, that when they had EVs go off track, there was no attempt. If they were catching on fire, something was going on like that, and it happened enough to have a protocol for it. So, look, if there's a word for it, it means that people have done it enough to warrant a word. If it's happened enough to have a protocol for it, it means it happened a few times at least, right? they would just tell them, look, in the event of an EV situation like this with your, rapid thermal decomposition, you are to exit the track, get out of the vehicle as far off the track as you safely can, get out of the vehicle. And their only job was to make sure that if there was a grass fire, the grass fire didn't spread. They weren't going to do anything to try to put the fire out in the car. So yeah, it bad all the way around bad. Smoking said, I'm mid 50s and just did my first drag and drive event. Also did burnouts on top of mountain passes. Very cool. I like it. You're only as old as you feel. That is 100% accurate. Someone said, but wait, those are supposed to be friendlier on the environment. Yeah. Man, listen, Smoking, I've known guys in their 20s and 30s that acted 60s and 70s. And I've known guys in their 60s and 70s that you would swear haven't aged past the age of 35. So yeah, for sure. Oh, Destroyer saying the Charger EV has a trunk lock issue as well. That's the thing that just scares me the most. How are you gonna the trunk lock? Like, look, let me tell you what I'm looking for in an electronic device. I want it to work, right? So if you're having a problem with like something that you're supposed to go and it pops open. Look, I get it. It has nothing to do with the powertrain, but if they're having battery problems, that's one thing. If they're having pop-lock problems, that's another thing. But these are the types of problems that you can't have, right? Like you cannot have this kind of a problem. This should be this is like a 6-inch putt. It's a gimme. If you pop it in, it's just because, you're making a statement or something. But you can't have these kinds of problems. Not the kind of problems that they're having, in my humblest of opinions. So wrap it with Beavis. Fire. Some of the later Beavis and Butthead, where it's like them older, like the re-release, are freaking hysterical. Eric saying, oh, absolutely right. Destroyer EV equals golf cart for sure. What's messed up is that this is one of those scenarios where it doesn't have to be like this. They could actually make them where it would make sense and deliver a vehicle that makes sense. City cars, stuff like that. Love the idea for an EV in that respect. Just don't like the idea of a battery catching on fire. You just use more simple battery tech. You don't have to have something all that crazy. And a city car doesn't have to have the range. You get 120 miles. If it's not going outside of the city, real mileage is like 75 and you only use 30 of it. Who cares what kind of battery it's in? Plug it in, let it charge and do your thing. I don't know. I just don't get it. Hitting the wrong buttons here. What am I doing here? Here we go. DM's, hanging out with Summer and I. I've been to both Ferrari and Lamborghini in Italy. If I had the cash to buy a Lamborghini, I just like the looks of it. I love the sound of them. Let's see. EV, Le Mans Bun, Whisper Wagon. I just can't get into them. I want to get into them. I just can't get into them. It pains me to say it. Yeah, Eric, I don't know what Stellantis is doing with it. I think they're trying to kill the brand at this stage. Like you can't, I know that they're not trying to kill the brand. It feels like it though. Someone's hanging out with DM. I think I fell in love with Lamborghini as a kid. I had a poster of the Lamborghini Countach and the Miura on it. Oh, the Miura is so pretty. Don't want to take it past about 120, 130, but yeah, the Miura is drop dead gorgeous. Yeah. Eric's saying the doors are failing. That's terrible. Oh, Hard Rock saying Stellantis ruined the Dodge brand. Hope they sell it. Fortunately, they're second in capital. Only Toyota has more. Yeah, but they're sliding quick, you know. Destroyer saying, so why can they keep the Jeep, the Hemi and the Jeep, but not the Dodge? A couple of reasons. One, I think it's because the Jeep falls under a different category for emissions. And that would be the first main reason. The second, maybe a side quest reason, is because that engine powertrain, the engine and transmission may not fit in the new Charger. I don't have the foggiest. I don't know what the dims are. I will tell you though that the LX, you know, the engine compartment is kind of small for the Hemi. But it's not too small. I mean, it's not that far removed from the W211 Mercedes that it's based off of. But that's the only two reasons I can think. Lower EPA fines for the Jeep, and then just shoehorning the thing in. You can make anything fit, but but I don't know. I don't know the specifics on that. Which is weird too, because again, I mean, we were supposed to have, if you believe the rumors from 2017, we're supposed to have an overhead cam V8 a long time ago. The Hemi was supposed to go away. We're going to get this, 5.5-ish liter V8 that was going to replace it. It was going to go in the new, what then would have been probably the Ghibli platform. And that never took place. That never happened, which I still think is really weird. Joseph Zen, hey B and Masonites, hello y'all. Good to see you, Joseph. Rolling in the graves. DM saying I had the black Countach poster from Alpine, that Heather Locklear poster. I had the white one, loved it. Destroyer said 392 Wranglers coming for the new year. God, still can't believe. You know what's funny about that is, they don't seem to have they have a surplus of 392s apparently that they need to put in something. But it's just so weird. I don't know why. I don't know. It's frankly, it's very frustrating to see the Jeep roll out with 392, but you can't get one in a Ram 1500. It makes, I don't understand it. It will never make sense. Help me understand that, please. Oh, Eric's hanging out with Sovereign. DM saying, I'm a Lambo guy. I'm really happy for OC Motivator. Yeah, OC's got a sweet Lambo. Stellantis to Dodge is like ED for the entire enthusiast community. They keep on this route, it will be. Yeah, his Lambo is sick. Joe's saying Jeep is a truck. I believe it is too. But it still doesn't answer why couldn't they put that engine in an actual pickup truck? Could you imagine that? That would be so awesome. Yeah, one of the vehicles that I had said I thought would make a hell of a fun truck, just a street truck. I'm not talking about building a race car. I'm not talking about something that would run a number. I'm just talking about something that would be fun, hella fun to drive. Regular cab, short bed, or a quad cab. Or do a crew, doesn't matter. Just a stock 392 with 355 gears or I'd probably go 355 gears with that truck. That's it. Basically just shy of 500 horsepower in a truck. It would get the same fuel economy on the highway almost that a 5.7 would, which is already really good. Well, it is in the Classic anyway. I think you see my point though. Why not make that? Why? How is that not already a thing? anyway, if I were ever to do, if like when it comes time for me to have to give up Buffy, if I could get a slamming deal on that truck, I would drive it just as a work truck until it just quit running. But at some point, you know what? I wouldn't do a stroker either. I would do a real honest to goodness 392 swap, the truck intake, and just stock everything. Literally the whole thing stock. What could possibly go wrong? It would get fuel economy numbers. It would be extremely snappy. It would be fast. It would be a lot of fun. That's the build. I mean, that's the only thing I can think of when it comes to builds that I would even be remotely interested in. And all it is just a basic, 392 swap. I really like 392 in the truck, and I cannot believe that it hasn't been done. And again, with this being the swan song and with the Challenger going, look at it like this. There's a history here. Back in the day when you couldn't make a muscle car or pony car because of EPA reasons, what did Dodge do? They said, okay, we got a loophole. You can put a 360, a hot 360 at that, in a pickup truck and not have to worry about catalytic converters or smog or anything like that. So what they do, they did just that. The Warlock and the Little Red Express. The fast Corvettes, for crying out loud. That's what they could do with the truck. I mean, yeah, you still have to have the cats and all that nowadays. I understand all of that, but they're rated with catalytic converters. You can have close to 500 horsepower and something that will absolutely rip. And you're not going to get hit with the EPA. Why is that not a thing? How do you, this, again, the marketing writes itself. This is what happens when you have people with no skin in the game, meaning they don't have an appreciation for the history of the company. They don't have a history, like a family history with the brand. They don't have a personal history racing or working on these things, tuning, anything like that, modifications. They have nothing. These are nerds that are in here trying to make decisions when it would be marketing. Like if somebody that knew what they were talking about, like this guy, like I don't understand why do I not have like this job offer coming across my desk right now? Hey, B, we need you over here. We got to figure out how to write the ship. We got to come up with some products that are going to sell that have some historical significance. I'm the guy. I would relish the opportunity provided that I had the latitude to, I'm telling you, if that they're doing and put something out like, look, here's what I would do. I would do this. I would be okay. Get you, they're not making the classic, so screw it. Get you a quad cab. The lightest truck that you've got, quad cab, put 392 in it, 355 gears, comes with the track lock, or 392s, it doesn't matter. Comes with the track lock. Have it to where you can completely disable the stability control the same way that you can for a four-wheel drive truck. And also do this for the four-wheel drive trucks too. I want to see this thing doing smoky ass burnouts. I want to see this thing drifting. I want to see this thing doing all the stupid shit that they would do with the Charger and the Challenger, right? And I mean American flags in the bed rails and just absolutely ripping ass and tearing it up. That's what I would want to do. That's what I would do. You won't let us build a car? That's great. America, here's your hot rod pickup back. And it would be freaking lipstick bitch red Ram 1500 putting in work LRE edition, Little Red Express. Have that as the badge. And then I would have a black and gold one, Warlock. And it would be straight up old school font Warlock on one of the badges right there on the side. Those war emblems right there on the side. 392 a badge or a 6.4 badge or something along those lines. Let it be known it's loud and proud. You're out there to rip ass. Well, I would absolutely fly that like crazy. And I mean, okay, you won't let us build the cars. We're going to build the trucks. We're going to build the trucks till you tell us we can't build the trucks anymore. You're going to try to do that? Whatever. And then make something that's cool again. Why not do that? It pisses me to no level. I don't understand why when The marketing is there. The ability to do this is there. You're not. There is no, it's all there. You got the motor right there. You got the truck right there. The computer's right there. But ching, and you're done. I just don't see why they don't do that. I mean, it's not like they don't have a history. They put a Viper engine in a pickup truck, for crying out loud. Help me to know why this can't be a thing. Anyway. Oh, let me get back up here. Oh, Sovereign said, I can't believe Stellantis killed the Challenger. They did kind of shoot themselves in the foot with that. Hard Rock saying the Gladiator, yeah. Jeep truck. Motor City, the fuel economy requirement for a Jeep is less stringent than for an SUV or truck. Joe saying anything that keeps the V8 engines alive, for sure. Smoking is out. Good to see you, buddy. Drive safely out there. CDM. Some are saying 45 to 500. I would be content. I would too. Oh, you know what else too? That 392, put the 392 truck intake on it. It would probably bump it to 5. They may not rate it at 5, but it would consistently be more powerful with that intake manifold. I promise you that. Some are saying, of course. Oh, yeah. Joseph's asking about that Mopar tuner. No, don't have a clue. Couldn't remember the name of it. It just escaped me. Eric's saying, TK's Garage said on his video that we could possibly invest into some shares on Stellantis and buy back the whole Chrysler Corporation to save Mopar. Good luck with that. Racer X would know better than I would on the tuner for Central Florida. That is his neck of the woods. Hard Rock saying everything about Mopar is history. The look, the sound, the lifestyle. Yeah. Yeah, it's lost a lot of cool factor, unfortunately. When you start losing cool points, it's not a good thing. Stellantis is an outsider that doesn't have a clue. Believe that. And they own Dodge, but their soul isn't in it. No, their soul is not in it. Yeah, Stellantis is pretty much, well, I mean, they're not an American company. The guy said it, I mean, straight away. But yeah, I would like to see them be owned by an American or be an American company again. And I mean America as in the United States of America, not Canada and Mexico. And the reason why I say that is the logistics of it drive me crazy. And plus, I mean, look, if they were bought, the problem is that if you bought that company, you'd have to buy manufacturing. And to buy manufacturing means, oh my God, I couldn't imagine having to deal with the logistics of an engine plant in Mexico, a body and frame plant in Canada, shipping that stuff into the, I mean, how is that even a good thing? How would that even work? I don't know. Jebediah's and make an aluminum block. Yeah, that's still a weird thing. I don't know why they don't make aluminum blocks out of those things. Skids, and the price tag on the Rubicon 392 stupid expensive. They're all ridiculous. I don't even know that. I guess the problem for me with some of those vehicles is the balls you got to have to even ask that kind of money. Like, you know, there's old. It doesn't hurt to ask. Yeah, it does. It really does. If you ask a certain question, especially a certain way, you can kill a negotiation straight away. In this case, when you're talking about money like that, that's too much. Like, it's too much to ask. And it just goes to show they don't care. They would rather sell 100 of those things at $90,000 than 300 of them at 45. And I say it like that because, yeah, you'd make more money, but it's more of a headache and it's more resources and it's more of a logistics thing. Yeah, the margin's not as high. And when companies start to do that, when companies get on a margin, the margin the margin march, that's when, that's real frustrating. This is not a way to gain market share. And the issue is that you push people away and you're not instilling any real value in the product. Not when there's other things in the marketplace that people could potentially be happier with, like the Bronco, for example. I mean, it's not a Jeep, I understand that, but who cares? It's cool looking. Anyway, but with that, guys, I just saw the time. We are checking in at 1 hour and 16 minutes now. So I've got to wrap it up. But listen, I want to thank each and every one of y'all for hanging out. Don't forget, run over to Destroyer 1320 site. Use the code Mason for 15% off of your anti-theft device. Make sure you get that on your Challengers and Chargers now. Do it now. But listen, guys, get out there and do something cool for somebody. Chances are they need it way more than you know. And with that, guys, that's a wrap. Y'all have a great one. Adios.